Hurricane Milton is pounding the state of Florida. Good morning. Mike Naso here with this 2 a.m. Eastern Time update on our Hurricane Milton. There is the radar showing that the system continues to rip right into the state of Florida. It made landfall around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time right there in the vicinity of Sarasota, Florida, near Siesta Key. It pounded the Tampa area and is now south of Orlando, still a hurricane as of 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Here's the latest from the National Hurricane Center. The particulars as of 2 a.m. Very heavy rains and damaging winds continue across much of central Florida. Flash flood emergencies remain in effect. As of 2 a.m. Eastern Time, the center of Hurricane Milton was at 28.1 north, 81.3 west. That's about 30 miles south of Orlando, Florida, or 45 miles west-southwest of Cape Canaveral. I'll show you that in the radar in a minute. Winds are still 90 miles per hour. It's a high-end Category 1 hurricane. It's maintained itself now for at least 6 hours since it made landfall. It is a very powerful storm. It's moving east-northeast at 16 miles per hour. Thank goodness. The rain and the flooding is bad enough. Can you imagine if this was moving even slower? 975 millibars. We still have a storm surge warning in effect from Flamingo north to the Anclote River, including Charlotte Harbor and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, you haven't had any surge. The winds have actually blown the water out of Tampa Bay, but once that water comes back, it could do so quickly. That's very dangerous. We also have a storm surge warning on the other side of Florida, Sebastian Inlet to Altamada Sound, Georgia, including the St. Johns River. Of course, a hurricane warning in effect from Bonita Beach to Suwannee River, including Tampa Bay, and the East Coast from the St. Lucie Martin County line to Ponte Verde Beach. Again, a very, very dangerous storm. Let's take a look at some of the stats that I'm finding on social media. It looks like Nokomis got a very high storm surge of 13 feet. That's right in the vicinity of Venice, Florida. Downtown Fort Myers, this map says 5 feet, but you've had as high as 7. Areas of Fort Myers, Naples, they've had 4 to 7 feet of storm surge, and it's nighttime, so we're not really getting the pictures. We'll know by daylight exactly what this system did. Captiva Island also getting in on that storm surge. We've had damage throughout Florida. The Tropicana field there had the roof ripped off of it. Again, in the Tampa area, there's been damage to buildings. There were very high winds. In fact, we had a sting jet, as they call it, from the backside of the hurricane, and there were winds up to 100 miles per hour in gusts in the Tampa area. And even though the water might not have been that bad, these winds are. Now, these are the winds recorded inland. Melbourne already up to 72 mile per hour wind gusts. Cocoa Beach, 71. Daytona Beach had a wind gust to 85 miles per hour. Orlando, 86. Again, this is inland and towards the East Coast. That's to say nothing of what we had on the west coast of Florida. Anna Maria Island, a wind gust to 106. 102 at Sarasota Airport near Bradenton. St. Petersburg, 101. The channel there in the area near Tampa Bay, 105 mile per hour gusts. Clearwater, 90. Tampa Airport, 83. There is going to be a lot of wind damage. Again, it came in at a Category 3 intensity, but it was a steady state or weakening, so the winds weren't bursting as hard as they could be. But if you're getting these recorded gusts up to Category 2 or even into Category 3, this was a solid major hurricane, Category 3, when it came ashore there in areas of Siesta Key, Florida. Power outages are going to be a big concern because of this. We are looking at millions of people without power right now. Look at that number there. Over 2.6 million people without power across the state of Florida. And again, it's the areas most severely impacted. Sarasota, Manatee, Hillsborough, Pinellas County, even up to Pasco and Hernando County. You guys got in on it. It's now spreading across the peninsula. Very, very nasty conditions. Here's the latest radar. And again, the eye of the hurricane is to the south of Orlando here, right in this vicinity. So it clearly has weakened. But to still be a Category 1 after all this time, you would think it'd be down to a tropical storm. I'm wondering if maybe the interaction with the frontal boundary that swept it up is maybe enhancing it a little and allowing it to stay strong with those heavy winds on the back side of it. I'm going to zoom in here on this radar image. Not that far. Let me zoom in here. And we'll get a better idea of where the hurricane is. Again, it's to the west-southwest of Cape Canaveral and to the south of Orlando. So that puts the eye very near St. Cloud, Florida, Harmony. There was a lot of severe weather there earlier, a lot of devastating tornadoes. Kissimmee, you're pretty much in the calm right now, but a lot of heavy wind to the north. Again, I mentioned those wind gusts to 85 miles per hour at Daytona Beach. Daytona Beach is well to the north, so this system is definitely a half a cane right now, to where the worst wind is definitely on the north side of the circulation. But don't be surprised as these winds pull on shore if you won't have water rises still. Again, Tampa Bay, you had water with the eye of the hurricane coming from your south. It blew the water out of Tampa Bay. But now that the winds are backing the other direction, that water will come back in. So again, it's a very serious situation. The rain rates, too, look at this. Rain rates very high there north of Orlando near Deltona. And again, that's headed offshore. So hopefully we'll get this hurricane out of there, but then it will be all about the cleanup. The good news is that that severe weather should eventually move on out. There's a marginal risk, but there are no tornado watch boxes right now anywhere in this region like we had earlier, so that is great news. The big concern is the flooding. Flash flood warnings in the Melbourne area, Brevard County, Lake County, Orange County, Seminole County, Volusia County until 4:30 in the morning Eastern Time. Doppler radar indicates thunderstorms producing 5 to 9 inches of rain that have already fallen and 3 to 6 possible. So do the math. That's what, 8 to 15 inches of rain? Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. Orlando, Deltona, Daytona Beach, Port Orange, Sanford, Titusville, Winter Green, Winter Springs, Winter Park. A lot of areas getting hit there. New Smyrna Beach. Turn around, don't drown. So again, the flood warnings are the issue right now all along the Florida coastline from Tampa Bay all the way back over to the eastern seaboard as we continue to watch those rain rates very, very high with this hurricane. I'm Mike Naso with continuing late-night coverage of this very powerful hurricane, Hurricane Milton, lashing the state of Florida. Stay tuned. We'll continue to watch the impacts. Again, if you're in areas there, like I said, New Smyrna Beach, Deltona, Daytona Beach, these rain rates are extremely high, so be prepared for flooding, flash flooding, dangerous, dangerous wind, and of course, the continued storm surge on the west coast of Florida and on the east coast. Stay tuned for further updates on Hurricane Milton as the situation warrants. I'll be back with more coverage of this very dangerous major hurricane impact on Florida.